So then, after Heartbreak blows up, Belle Biv DeVoe forms.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis suggested that group come together, right?
They sure did when they knew, because I still had an obligation to MCA at that time because Gerald Busby moved over to Motown. Mm-hmm. So I still had an obligation with Gerald was able to negotiate the deal when he left from MCA to go to Motown to bring me with him.
Bring you over, exactly.
So I still had, even when I was with MCA, I still had an obligation to record as a solo artist with them because I had a solo deal. So they knew after that Heartbreak album, everyone knew and was aware I was going to have to go back in to start the solo stuff. So
right, because Belle Biv DeVoe came out.
Yeah,
so that's 3 members right there.
Yeah,
quadruple platinum.
Yeah,
blew the hell up.
Yeah.
Ralph T came out with Sensitivity.
Yeah.
I love that song, by the way. Like, I remember when I met him for the first time, I was like, yo, like the song Sensitivity was such a moment, like for me in high school. Like I just listened to it over and over again.
To me, that's the original ultimate smooth criminal. Yeah. Guy, just smooth.
Yeah. I mean, that album, I felt like it didn't do as well as people expected it to do. I thought it was great, but it didn't reach like BBD, Don't Be Cruel status.
It was successful, but absolutely, I think we had already Bob come out with his solo album, BBD, and then myself. And like Ralph always said, he said, man, the pressure of feeling like now at this point, I'm coming out like last. It was like, wow. Like, he said it was a lot of pressure for him on top of it just being the last of the Mohicans coming out.
Yeah.
But he did well. And
I mean, he went platinum eventually.
Yeah.
But which is great. But then you're comparing it to Bobby Brown going 12 times platinum, BBD going 4 times platinum, New Edition going double platinum. So I mean, it did great. I thought it was a brilliant album.
I just realized I saw that the last count of my album of the Johnny Gill album, it's 5 million, and it's like you sit there and you go, wow, wow,
right. And like you had just mentioned, your third album came out, on Motown, And that one 4 times platinum.
Yeah.
So did you double the sales of New Edition? By yourself?
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah. It was, timing is everything, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I also believe we gotta, in this in the universe, man, sometimes things just have to align up right. And I think a lot of times, we could sit and make these plans and do all this stuff, and yet we could fall short. But I believe that it's just about everything just lining up properly, and then the right time, right place, the right everything. Somebody asked me, and every time I talk about a producer or meet a producer, and they say, yeah, man, if you want to lose me immediately, let me meet you. And the first thing you tell me is, man, we got to write another my. It's like,
right.
Listen, I could never recapture that magic in that moment. I was in a time, place, and space that could never ever be captured again, because just what it was.
That became your biggest song.
Yeah.
Big solo song. My.
That was my signature. No, my biggest record to this day is probably, I believe, Rub You the Right Way.
Okay, well, I'm just looking at the streams.
Yeah. Well, Spotify. Now, you know what? Because I didn't count, you're not counting
so
streams.
My is at 37 million. Rub You the Right Way is 21 million.
Yeah. But see, now when you start talking streams now, which back then, it was all about record sales.
It was all about record sales.
All we had
so you're saying that Rub You the Right Way actually outsold My?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, a great album. A great album. Fair Weather Friend was on there. Wrap My Body Tight was on there. I mean, how did it feel to have a 4 times platinum solo album after having 2 albums that just didn't do all that well?
For me, I think it was obviously truly a blessing, but at the end of the day, this is how you'll know the difference between a true artist. Your thought process is, it's working, that's great. My thought process is, what's next? What's next? I'm trying to figure out at this point, how are we going to surpass this? And that's a
lot of pressure.
A lot of freaking pressure.
Oh, yeah.
And it's okay. What we can do, because nobody can Like at the end of the day, we can't guarantee anything. But what I do know is that when it was all said and done, when I look at that the album, the Let's Get the Mood Right album, and there was the Provocative album, but the Let's Get the Mood Right album, which was another album that to me was like when you go from the beginning to the end, I gave my best, and I've learned in my 40 years of being in this business, and even back then, I was at a point where I understood, let the chips fall where they may. When you've done your best, and it's like I'm okay with it. When I get to a point, and that's what I do with all my records, well, not records anymore, but all my music, is when I can listen to it for my own listening pleasure, and I'm not sitting there critiquing it, that's when I know it's done. That's when I know I'm good to go. Whatever happens at that point, it's okay with me.